Hello there. Yeah. You maybe came here expecting to hear the story of Widow Molly. Well, that's for another day. Now, Widow Molly, don't get me wrong, I love the story. It's a real good, feel good story. Yeah, but some days you just get up, you don't feel like telling a real feel good story. No. So when that happens, then I go back to one of my favorite authors, John Steinbeck. That's right. Oh, as a youth, I read all his books. I read them several times. Happy-go-lucky guy. Yeah, yeah. I loved the Mice and Men and all of them. But my favorite was the one I bet you've never read. And that is a book by the name To a God Unknown. I don't know if that was one of John Steinbeck's earlier ones or his later ones, but it certainly wasn't one of his popular ones. It's a story about a farmer who is wrestling during a drought. And he's lost his crop and what little he had, the locusts came in. And I mean, this poor guy, he was just suffering something terrible, like so many of John Steinbeck's people. Well, then he decided that what he needed to do was build an altar in his yard. Yeah, and he took stones and he built this altar. Now, I thought that was really unique. I didn't know it was so common. When I was down in North Carolina and Tennessee, I met a lot of farmers that have an altar in their yard. Yeah. What else are you going to do with stones? In Door County, you make a fence. Down there, they make an altar. Yeah. And some of the guys who are really, really believe and are really sincere in their faith, that's a prayer altar. And they go out there and they work a little bit, then they stop and lean on the altar and they talk a little bit to God, and then they go back to plowing or whatever. Well, anyways, this poor farmer in John Steinbeck's book built this altar. And that's, he felt, was the secret to bring himself and his whole community out of the drought and chase the locusts. And he had a great man of faith. And it worked. But unfortunately, I don't think it worked kind of the way he thought it was going to work. Yeah, so, I hate to tell you because it's such a great part of the ending of the book. Oh, let's just face the altar required a sacrifice. Enough. Go back and read the book. But that set me to thinking. And I wrote a story way back then that was a parable. A parable about a situation in the life that I was in and a few others. And I just wrote it for the fun of it, tucked it away, and then I found it just the other day. Yeah. Life's parable. And I thought, boys, I could tell that story again. It's not going to take a lot of changes. And it's about a king. That's right. So about a very, very wealthy king who had a beautiful kingdom. Oh man, he had the most beautiful castle you could ever want to build. Oh, all kinds of gold things in it and everything. Oh yeah, he was quite a guy. Mm-hmm. And he ruled over this kingdom. Oh yeah, he had all these people out there working in their fields, and he would collect their harvests and collect their money. And he kept getting richer and richer, and they were working hard and everything. Everything was going fine. Until one day, suddenly there was a drought. Many in the court became very concerned. Yeah, it looks like we're getting into a drought. Some of the people in the court scolded the king. No, have no fear. It's going to rain. Why, I think it'll probably rain next week. We're getting into the rainy season now. Don't worry about a thing. Just everything's fine. Oh, a week went by, and 2 weeks went by, and 3 weeks went by, and King, it's getting pretty dry out here. Yeah, well, let me. Nothing to worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't you wonder how the people in the court knew that they should be concerned? Well, I'll tell you how. one of the guys in the court would go down into the village every day, and he would walk around and visit with people and check and see if everybody's okay. And on and on. And one day he's down there and he sees this woman by the well, and she's tying ropes together. And he says, "Well, what are you doing?" She says, "Well, I'm going for water." She says, "There's water down that well." She says, I'm having a harder and harder time get to it. I have to make the rope longer and longer. How long has this been going on? Oh, weeks. Weeks. You should see it. She says, "I used to start with a little piece of rope, Now I got all this other rope, and I have to put it way down." Well, he went back to the king and said, "I have reason to believe that this drought is probably more serious than what you would think." "No, don't worry about a thing. Rain is coming. And they're still getting water, aren't they?" "Well, they may have to go a little deeper, but no, nothing to it." But King, the fields are drying up, and the folks are really worried. I would suggest that maybe we look into this and we could see what we could do about helping the people. Yeah. Maybe we could take our army and use our army, which is a great source of protection for us, and put them to work, and maybe build what they call an aqueduct out of the mountains. Yeah, aqueduct to bring water down. It's going to be a big job, and it'll take a while. But the labor force in our little kingdom and the army, they could do it, and we could bring water down out of the mountains and protect ourselves. Well, that's a concern. And that's probably even a suggestion. The king went back and thought about it for a while and decided, maybe there's something to this thing about a drought. Maybe the woman by the well had a good point. So he went and called his people together, his army, his royal court, and says, "Folks, there's been some talk recently about a drought, and I'm beginning to get a little concerned. So, it takes a lot of water to run this castle, right? What we need to do is we have aqueducts. No, we don't have any aqueducts. But we do have cisterns at the bottom of the castle, and we could start filling those cisterns with water to protect us. Yeah. And just take a little bit of water here, a little water. People won't even know it. Just take whatever water you can get and get it down in that cistern so that we have plenty of water to protect us." Another month went by. Before you know it, the fields were dry, but the cisterns were filling up. Good news, right? So the poor guy in the king's court went back to the king and said, "You've had such a wonderful idea. Now let's put together a way to preserve that and get that water out to the people so they can do just a little irrigation to keep their gardens going and to help them to have at least some water to drink. We'll take it out of the cistern." "Oh, no. Can't do that. No. That's my cistern. No. I got a better idea. First of all, I'm passing some laws. And they're very simple laws. First law is the army is going to barricade all the roads around our kingdom. We're not going to let anybody in. Nobody is going to come in and get our water. That'll work, right? We can't have people going around stealing our water, can they? No. Okay. The next thing, I want the guards to be brought up here and put at the castle at the entrance of the cisterns to make sure that nobody gets in there to take any water. No. Next, there is trickles of water, right? It's not like the people don't have any water. Everybody's got to take a hoe and go out and hoe their little gardens. and bring in water and just put it on their plants. And everybody in the kingdom has got to go out and work and do that. That's how we'll preserve things. Everybody will hold their little gardens and bring in little droplets of water to grow their plants. It'll work. And sure enough, it did work. People found creative ways of digging down by hand to find some little trickle of water, or something, trickling of water, and then they would capture it up, and then they put all the things in the leaves in the morning to catch any little dew that there may be in it. Then they take that leaf and they pour that little droplet of water in a container, and then they take that little container out and feed their little plants. And it worked. People started working and started having some clever ideas and started getting their gardens back together again. But it wasn't enough. No, it really wasn't enough. Droplets of water didn't do it. They got to a point where they couldn't cook. They could just barely get enough dew on the water to drink it in the morning, and would you believe, in a matter of a few weeks, people started dying. That's right. They were dying all over the kingdom. Go figure. Just because they didn't have any water. Well, they must have been a little lazy, because they could still get water. This poor guy went back to the king again and said, "King, we have cisterns of water. Please let us take water out of our cisterns to give it to our people." "No, we can't do that. Oh, that's for the castle. We can't do that. There's plenty of water." "Oh yeah, I know this. There's a lot of water. There's plenty of water. But king, people are dying." "Well, yeah. Oh, a time like this is stressful. I know there is something going on in our kingdom, and it is hurting people physically, and they're dying. But a lot of them are just old. A lot of them already had problems. They're probably not people who would work in our fields anyways when the rains come. Yeah, so it's okay. What percentage do you think will die of our kingdom?" "Well, sir, I don't know. I probably 10%. See? They're back working. I'm building a brand new hall on the back of my castle. That's where I need the laborers, the ones that you can't feed those little plants. Put them to work back there to build that, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful place. Oh yeah, we'll have actually beautiful festivals in there. It's going to be gorgeous. It'll be okay. The rains will come. It's only a drought. Why worry about it?" I think he had reason to worry when half the kingdom died because they had no water. But the king, he had plenty of water. He could build anything he wanted because he was the king. He was the final authority. Why? If I say you're going to die of thirst, you're going to die of thirst. Who's going to ever judge me for that? You just didn't take care of yourself. Get back to work. This kingdom had a name. WHOSMORE. The Kingdom of WHOSMORE. You see, the king knew that he was in total control. That court of his meant nothing. He was in control. And by the way, if he didn't like somebody in the court, well, he had the power to kill him off. Yeah, that power is potentially there, yeah. But I don't know, he probably just fired him and threw him under the bus. Get them out of the way. They're not supporting me. This is my kingdom. The kingdom of WHOSMORE. Because who's more important than me? Who is richer than me? Who is more powerful than me? WHOSMORE. WHOSMORE. The story ends. The kingdom was overthrown. The army and the people had enough. And they finally band together. And they overthrew the king and his family so they could install a new source of government that would be for the people. Yes, to the people. And for the people. I believe the rains did come. I believe when the people had their mind, the aqueducts were built. WHOSMORE? Are we living in WHOSMORE? I'm not. You guys have a good day. God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.